to be using the DJ software, Djay Pro AI, but other DJ software are going to be similar to map this controller. So in Djay Pro AI, you're going to go to the middle button, and then we are going to go to the settings, and then we are going to go down, all the way down to the bottom one, MIDI devices, DJ2GO2 Touch. Then now we are in our mapping section. You may be asking yourself, how do I know which button, which knob, which fader I am mapping? Well, it's very simple. All you have to do is touch the button or knob that you want to change. Now, I'm in the original built-in settings for this controller. Keep in mind, you can have multiple mappings for a controller. So for this one, I am going to do what I think would make this controller have the most features. So first of all, I am going to find the buttons that we're probably not going to use. So these headphone buttons, we don't need them because with this app and with a lot of DJ softwares, the headphone output is going to automatically switch based on the crossfader. So these buttons are basically useless. So I am going to use them for our effects. An easy transition is doing an echo out, adding some reverb. So to be able to do that with our controller is going to be great. So I'm just going to press the button I want to map. And then now here you have the target and the action. These are the most important things. So the target is going to be deck 1. This just means where you want this control to control. So deck 1. And then the action is going to be all the way down here. FX1 enabled. And then now we're just going to do the same thing for the second one. This one is going to be deck 2, but the action is going to be the same. FX1 enabled, save. Now let's test it out. Loading up a track. Now we're going to open our effects. Manual, and you could see that our effect is on this side, and on that side. So now we have our effects, and then you could change this effect. You get one effect. Most controllers will have 3 or 4 that you're used to, but now you'll only have one. But it's better than none. So these headphone buttons are now our effect buttons. So what else could we use that I like to use when I'm DJing a lot is filters. They were able to put a filter on this Hercules controller. So let's put it on this Numark controller. So what we're going to do is we are going to use these volume faders because usually we're used to having the volume faders as faders instead of knobs. It feels kind of weird having them as knobs. So these are the perfect ones to use for a filter. You may be asking yourself, how am I going to change the volume? I will get to that next. So we're going to go back to audio device setup. Back to MIDI devices. Click our controller. This one, target, deck 2, filter. It's in the effects section. Filter. We're going to do the same thing for this one. Once you get the hang of it, it's really quick and easy to do this. Deck 1, filter. Test it out. Open up our filter. Boom. Now we have the filter. If it's in the middle, it's off. And then to the right is high pass. To the left is low pass. On both sides. So there we go. Now we have effects. And we have filters. So now you may be asking yourself, how am I going to control the volume? Because that is pretty important. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. MIDI devices. Now, some people might get a little bit mad at this one, calling it fake DJing, not fake DJing. But this controller does give us BPM sliders for manual beat matching and manual BPM adjustments. But they're kind of small, kind of hard to use. With this controller, you're probably not going to be trying to match up the BPM exactly. If you want to get the exact BPM, you could press sync once, and then you could press sync again, and sync will be off, but the BPMs will be exactly the same. So these are going to be our volume faders, so we're used to the same volume faders that are on every other controller except for these two. So just press the slider, deck 2, instead of tempo. So this one is not going to be in deck 1 or deck 2. It's actually considered the mixer section. So we're going to go to target mixer, deck 2 line volume. And now we're going to go over here, go to mixer, deck 1 line volume. Done. So now these are our volume sliders. They may be inverted, so to change it, what we have to do is go over here, go back, line volume, and then invert, save, do this one, mixture, deck 1 line volume, go to advanced control configuration, and then we're going to go to invert, boom. So now we have volume sliders like we're used to on every other controller. We have the volume sliders over here, just nice sliders. We have our effects on both sides, and we have our filters. So we gained 3 controls, and we really didn't lose anything. Like I said, the headphone buttons, we're really not going to use them that much because it automatically switches. And with this type of controller, to be honest, most people aren't really going to be using headphones with it anyway. We got the BPM slider. These ones were hard to use for the BPM, but they work perfect for the volume. And then having the effects right there at our fingertip is great. And it even lights up to show us that the effect is on, so we don't have the effect on by accident, which could be a big mistake. So there you go. That's how I believe you could get the most out of this small controller. Have it feel more like a mid-range controller and have it actually be competitive to the Hercules control mix, because now you have that filter. You could also switch to filter. If you don't want it to be a filter, it can be a bass knob. It depends on your DJing style. For me, a filter, you could still take out the bass with the filter, and then you get the filter effect too. So thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about DJing, beginner DJing with the iPad, cool controllers, all that type of stuff, subscribe to the channel. I make several of these videos a week. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot.